My former adoptive mother was also my stepmother. She and my father forced the adoption on me against my will when I was young because she couldn't have children biologically. My mom was dead, and they felt like she deserved the official mother title and a place on my birth certificate. I never wanted it and begged them not to, but I was ignored. It's been 2 years between my mom passing and Dad remarrying and the adoption. They even lied and said Dad was sick to push the judge's hand, because apparently with me saying no, they needed something that would make a judge think it would be in my best interest. So they pretended Dad was worried something would get worse, and the judge decided it was safer for me. I never forgave them. I went no contact 7 months ago when I turned 18. I asked my maternal grandparents to adult adopt me to erase the original adoption. My stepmother is English, and ever since I've known her, she celebrated both UK Mother's Day and our Mother's Day. And then around midnight last night, I made a Facebook post thanking my grandma for adopting me and being a great mom. I don't even celebrate the UK's Mother's Day, but Dad's parents reminded me about it and said I should post something, knowing she would see. They weren't thinking of announcing the adoption thing, but that's what I did. I woke up an hour ago, and my former stepmom saw it, thanks to other family members being friends with both of us on Facebook. And Aunt told me that they were really angry and said I was an idiot because they had no idea I was no longer legally their kid. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Pretty sure, but you don't want to be adopted by your stepmother and immediately went no contact when you turned 18. So that's a pretty massive indicator of the type of people they were. But really, what did they expect to happen? Forcing a bond onto a child? And against the child's wishes? I'd understand, perhaps, if your dad was truly ill and worried something might happen. But even then, was she really the best and only option? Sounds like she's not. Wait, the adoption happened as soon as they got married? The timeline is much too short. OP's dad decided his new wife was a good match for him, then rushed the marriage and adoption far too quickly without considering OP's yikes. So this was 100% about her and how much ego-stroking she would get from it versus actually having contributed meaningfully to your upbringing. Yeah, why should you protect their feelings? They didn't do anything to protect yours. I think you should check in with your grandparents, though. If your post has caused issues for them, you need to support them. Her maternal grandparents adopted OP. Her paternal grandparents are the crap stirrers. I read it as OP made a Facebook post, knowing that stepmom would see it. Why else would OP do it on the UK Mother's Day, when based on everything here, OP and maternal grandparents are not from the UK? I agree that the father and stepmom are idiots for what they pulled, but OP's also a bit of one as well, when it easily could have waited for their own Mother's Day or just any other random day. I disagree. OP's not the idiot. OP's dad put his new wife's feelings over his son's. At 18, OP made a passive-aggressive post on Facebook. Oh well, stepmom shouldn't have forcefully adopted him. She's hurt? Oh, okay, because OP wasn't hurt for the last 11 years. Honestly, the dark-hooded version of me wishes to remind you that the words, "finally a complete family," with a picture of you and your grandparents or maternal family might be a good Facebook post for US Mother's Day. Your dad and his wife sound manipulative. Not saying you should, just saying I'd personally tell everyone on my social media the full story. And if anyone tried to justify that horrible behavior, remove and block them. I told my boss I'd be quitting end of January 2020 to be self-employed, but my boss asked me to stay on payroll so he could contract out work to me easily. On my last day, coworkers leave me a goodbye card with $1,000 cash in it. In March 2020, I moved a few hours away. 3 years later, I see a former coworker who pats my stomach and asks if this is my second. I internally die because, oh, she thinks I'm preggo. I know I'm like 20 pounds over where I'd like to be, and a lot of that is on my gut, coupled with a super curved lower spine that made my belly stick out even before I got fat. I tell the coworker I don't have any kids. Ha ha, I'm just fat. She looks awkward. I feel uncomfortable. 0 out of 10 experience, would not repeat. This morning I got a call from HR, passing on a message from a different coworker asking for the going away cash to be returned, as it was meant as a maternity gift for my baby, and that me being fat and wearing shirts that emphasized my belly was deceptive. I tricked that coworker into thinking I was pregnant. HR says she overheard the convo about me leaving, but continuing to do some work in the coming months, and took that as my maternity leave. She took donations from the staff under that pretense, and now my fatness and lack of babiness are the hot office gossip. Feeling super great about that too. HR says they can't force me to do anything, but it would be nice to return it. Here's the thing, I no longer have the card, but I'm sure it didn't say anything about, there's a kid inside of you. It had 2 pandas on the front. Oh, now as I'm typing, I do remember there was a big one hugging a smaller one. So maybe it was about babies, but it definitely didn't say anything like, bun in the oven or we think you're pregnant. I am certain I would remember that because that's a super big insecurity I've had for the past 5 years since I started gaining weight, medicine side effect. And my husband keeps saying, nobody thinks you look preggo. So, haha, sucks to be wrong, hubby. So this is a very hollow victory. I'm feeling crushed and upset that the going away gift wasn't it. And not once did any of my coworkers ask if I was pregnant. I don't really want to return the money. The cash is long since gone, but I could pull $1,000 from my bank to give back. The old boss has also been emailed about this entire exchange. I'm waiting for a reply from him and Googling women's fashion to hide belly fat and feeling horrible about my body. Am I the idiot for not returning the baby gift given to me by my coworkers? OMG, not the idiot. That is harassment. Their mistake in giving you a gift that they never said was for your pregnancy or baby is not your issue to correct. It was 100% reasonable for you to think it was a goodbye gift. They don't get to decide goodbye because I'm having a baby is somehow more worthy than goodbye, I'm leaving to start my own thing. I would ignore HR and tell them what you wrote here. It was a gift, freely given, not coerced by them, with absolutely no mention of it being conditional upon it going towards a baby. Then block them all. LOL, if I gave someone a gift because I assumed she was pregnant, and then she ended up not being, the last thing I'd do is ask for that gift back. That's just rude, as if their assumption is your fault. If I'm reading correctly, the someone who assumed was in HR, right? If that's the case, maybe just respond that this whole thing has been embarrassing for you, and that wherever the assumption was made, no one checked with you first. Yep, HR told everyone that OP was pregnant. Even if OP had told HR that, which they didn't, HR still couldn't do that. This is the real issue. HR overheard and misinterpreted a conversation and then decided to publicly announce protected medical information without consent. HR owes the office $1,000 and OP an apology. Yeah, like, what the absolute heck? I wouldn't return a single penny. They made an assumption, and they did it 3 years ago. Your former boss needs to step up here. Also, I'm willing to bet that some of the people who contributed to that going away gift don't even work there any longer. Honestly, they should be ashamed for even asking. Don't let them make you feel bad about your body. People are stupid when it comes to assuming women are pregnant, and worse, touching their bellies. I, female 35, have a daughter, Jessica, teen, and 2 years ago I married Joe, male 47, who has a daughter, Bella, same age. Joe and Jessica have always gotten along very well, and I presume Jessica and Bella would also bond, as they're the same age, and Jessica's always wanted a sister, and I thought they'd get along. At home, they were always nice to each other, shared stuff, and seemed to have fun. Recently, I got a call from their school, stating that Bella was crying in the office. Before I could ask her why, they told me that Jessica was bullying her for being ugly and unfashionable. Bella does have a bit of an alternative style, but I think it's creative and unique and not an excuse to bully her. I was absolutely horrified at this, as when I was a child, I was also bullied for things like that. And I've also raised Jessica to be kind and empathetic. I picked Bella up from school early and took her out for ice cream and let her talk if she needed to. She confessed she didn't say anything because she wanted Jessica to like her, and she didn't want to cause any problems, as since her mom died, she hasn't seen her dad so happy. I then continued to tell her I wouldn't tell Jessica that she told me, but tell her the school did, to possibly mend their relationship, and that she can always talk to me whenever, as although I will never replace her mom, I want to be there for her no matter what. When Jessica came home, I told her that her behavior was extremely unkind, and I asked her why she did it. She then continued to say that she was right, and that Bella dresses like a freak and looks like a hideous rat, and that her friends were teasing her for having to live with her. I then told her that I'd be taking away her phone for a week, and that she has to apologize to Bella. She then said more nasty things about Bella, which made me snap. I told her I would take away all her makeup, other than her skincare prescribed by her dermatologist, and most of her new clothes that I bought for her last week. She then started crying, which made me feel bad, but I didn't relent. Her main interests are makeup and fashion, so I've decided to take them away, since she's bullying her stepsister for a related thing. I thought it would be appropriate until she learns to show kindness to others. I have offered to set up therapy or try to discuss it, but she screams that I'm ruining her life every time I'm near her. However, Bella appreciates my effort, and before anyone asks why Joe's not involved, he goes on a lot of business trips, so he's currently away, and I'm a stay-at-home mom. So, am I the idiot for removing my insecure daughter's makeup and clothing? Absolutely not the idiot. You're a wonderful stepmother, and Bella's lucky to have you. I'm sure your support means a lot to her. Jessica needs to learn a lesson, and that's a good way of doing so. Also, try to talk to Jessica and slowly dismantle these toxic, superficial ideas that she has. It might help the issue because I doubt that Bella's the only girl she's bullying. You are the idiot, OP. Do I think Jessica needs consequences? Yes. Will taking away clothes and makeup make her see the error of her ways? Probably not. There's a much deeper issue here, and I think the best course forward is therapy for both girls and you, because her reaction here seems extreme. Also, taking away prescribed skincare, I would let her keep her dermatologist skincare stuff. I don't really view trying to treat acne in the same vein as fancy clothes. Does she really have bad acne and usually cover up scars or active acne with cover-up? If her scarring or skin is really bad, it could be too cruel to take that away. I mean, what she did is awful, but the cover-up foundation would be an exception if she really needs it. OP, did you just leave it up to chance to see if the girls would get along? Married quickly and moved in together without much preparation? Jessica sounds like she needs some help. It's hard to measure up to the perfect sweet stepdaughter, and she's probably struggling with having bad acne, and your attention is diverted to two other people, and she's coming up a distant third. So she has to play nice to Bella to gain your approval and attention. You are the idiot, and your husband needs to be home more often so he can parent his daughter, and you can repair your relationship with your own child. When I, 27 male, was a kid, I had a traumatic experience and was in an accident while on the school bus which a lady drove. Since then, I've always had a phobia of being a passenger in a vehicle driven by a woman. I know it's irrational. The woman driving didn't even cause that accident. A male driver in a truck did. My mom didn't drive, and even when my older sister learned to drive, I refused to drive with her, even though my other siblings did. I have my license, but not a car, and when I take public transit, I also take the next bus if a woman is driving. This is a phobia, and I don't think women should not drive or anything. Recently, my girlfriend and I moved in together, and she has a car. She is really upset with me, as whenever we go out together, I insist on driving her car. She says it feels like I'm misogynistic when it's just a phobia. I said I'd be okay taking public transit, and she could drive her car, and we could travel separately. But she thinks that isn't a solution, and I should get over it. Am I the idiot here? It's not like I'm telling her she can't drive. I apply this rule to everyone, even when it inconveniences me. I told her she was free to ask my family about my past. You are the idiot for not getting therapy to address this issue. You're only hurting yourself by not addressing this. If you have a daughter, will you refuse to teach her how to drive? If you and your girlfriend get married or you're ill or hurt, she can't drive you? Or when the ambulance driver's a woman, you're harming yourself, and you're also hurting the women around you. Having an irrational phobia is okay, but you can get help. So you still get on a bus despite being in a bus accident. You don't blame the bus, even though without the bus, there would have been no accident. You blame the woman, which is very interesting. You've had 20 plus years to get treatment or therapy for that. At this point, you're just being sexist. It's misogynistic to demand to drive a woman's car because you don't trust her driving. A man caused the accident years ago, but because a woman was driving the school bus, you're now blaming women for being bad drivers? Dude, if that's not misogyny, I don't know what is. So instead of dealing with your problems, you've resorted to blatant sexism. Plus, you don't even have a car, but you put down your girlfriend's driving? You are the idiot. Be better. I am a very good driver. I take safety as my number one priority and do my best to protect myself and my friends when I'm behind the wheel. I've had people say that I'm strict when it comes to me driving, but I just think it's better to be that way. I've only been in one accident, and it was because some chick rear-ended me when she was texting. My friend is on the complete opposite side of the spectrum. She is such a bad driver. I don't feel comfortable getting in a car with her behind the wheel. She breaks the rules, is incredibly aggressive, and goes 20 over. She's just awful. She's been in 3 accidents, even though she's only had her license for about 6 years, all of which were her fault due to distracted driving. Most recently, she got into an accident when she ran into someone else because she was texting while driving. Her car's now in the shop, so I'm driving her places. She recently developed a habit of being a backseat driver, and she gives the worst advice. She had told me to slam on the gas to make a yellow light, told me to get over into another lane seconds before someone comes speeding up on that side, and constantly advised me to go way faster than the flow of traffic, and it's really annoying. Yesterday I was taking her to class and she made us late. She tried to tell me to just run stop signs and red lights to make it on time, and I told her multiple times that I wouldn't. She said we would have already been there if she had been behind the wheel. I told her that there was no guarantee we would have made it there alive, given her track record. I said that she caused multiple accidents and that she might think twice before telling me how to drive. She was very upset by this, and we argued the rest of the drive. She said I was such an idiot for no reason and that she would be returning to her place. Am I the idiot? Info. Was she the one who rear-ended you while texting? Seriously though, she's learned absolutely nothing from her experiences and will continue to be a danger to herself and others. So maybe a reality check from someone she cares about will do her some good. You are not the idiot, but you can always ask her, can you remind me again why we're in this situation, me being the driver and you being the passenger? Or just stop giving her rides. When I'm doing a favor for someone and they start complaining about how I'm doing that favor, the favor ends. OP, you ought to not continue to chauffeur her. She seems likely to continue hectoring you until your car's in the shop too. There may be a 2-for-1 offer for which she plans to take advantage. You've been doing her many favors by driving her to and fro, and she's responded with abuse and invective. She's not entitled to your assistance. Friends don't treat each other this way. Why are you putting up with this? She's not a good friend to you. She's not friendship material. You're putting way more effort into this than you're getting out. Stop driving her.